Sergey right now. Sergey, welcome. Здравствуйте.
Yeah, hi everybody. I don't know if I need a microphone. There's only like 20 people in the room. Shall I speak without the mic? Or with the mic? Okay, because it's recording. Okay, sure. You know what? Before I did my presentation, I was actually thinking, speaking only about technical things, and then at the last minute, I decided that this is not going to be a technical presentation. And I'll tell you why, because this is SteemFest, and SteemFest is all about the people who are involved in it. And I want to begin with how the story has begun, obviously, by the slides. Well, for me personally, it began last summer, I think it was July, yeah, when Steemit got launched. It was July, if I'm not mistaken. And for those of you who know me, some of you might do, some of you might not, I used to write a lot on Steemit. And I used to actually be quite successful writer on Steemit for about 2 months. And what we realized at one point, me and some other guys, is that the Russian authors didn't get noticed on Steemit. Doesn't matter what the reason is right now, but each one of us was looking and trying to do his own things to promote Russian content, to get it noticed more and more by other people. And at one point, I came across some guys. The company is called Cyberphone. I'm not going to make any advertisement, though. So let's skip that. And they told me that they want to make, they spoke to Ned and Dan back then, and they decided to do an experiment and fork Steemit and launch a Russian version of it. So, okay, at first I didn't like the idea. To be honest with you, at first nobody liked the idea. Everybody was really skeptical about it. I'm sure some people are still skeptical about it, and it's okay, it's normal. But it's an experiment, just like Steemit is. And then I thought, okay, let me get involved in that. I got involved in it, and well, this is where I am today, and let's move on. And before I move on, I didn't actually introduce myself till the end, which is a bit bad. I am the CEO right now of a company called Golos Fund. And before I go on, I want to tell you what the difference is between us and Steemit right now, is the way we see it. From what we understand and from what we see and from speaking to Steemit and to some of the developers, Steemit is more concentrated on developing Steemit.com as a social network for the end user, building lots of microservices around it and making it a really great application, for people to use. And it's quite good that you just spoke about caching, and this just gives an example of that you are concentrated on that, and it's great. Our idea is slightly different. When we began, that was our idea as well, but then it a little bit changed, and we decided we want to concentrate on the protocol, on the technology, and get it developed for developers to be able to use the technology and modify it maybe if they want to and monetize it. So I will speak a little bit about that as well. There's a lot of clever words on the screen, some funny pictures as well, and I will speak about them in a second. Before that, I want to speak about launching a project and making mistakes. I think everybody makes mistakes, but it's good to make mistakes because otherwise nobody would learn. When we launched Golos, like I said, our idea was to just copy what Steemit had and just make it in Russian. And we didn't actually have a view of how it's going to look. We didn't understand that we wanted to develop the protocol. We didn't understand that where it's going to be heading to. We didn't know what was the audience, the target audience that we wanted to see. And slowly, bit by bit, we realized that, okay, this is what we want the target audience to be. This is what we want the protocol to be. This is how we want it to be developed. And we decided to break the company into 3 different parts. I know that Steemit Inc., they have, as far as I might be mistaken, and some of you guys might correct me, but it's basically one entity that is in charge of the blockchain development, Steemit.com, and everything that goes around Steemit. In Golos, we decided to do it slightly differently, and we decided to take the core development and make it one company, then make Golos Fund, which is actually the company I'm in charge of. It's a company where we look for developers in graphene-based chains. It's a very young company. And we give them money to develop their projects because we believe, not for free, obviously, obviously for a future percent of their earnings. or of their company. I like those glasses. It's really cool. Sorry. And this is one way to monetize it. And the actual social network itself, for us, it's only a product, and we gave it to an outsource. Right now, everybody on the team of Golos.io is a complete outsource company, and they are working as a separate entity. And we want to develop as many as it's possible social networks around the blockchain. So, for example, we don't want Golos.io to be the only website and the only social network that is built on our blockchain. Right now, we have a few more. We have Steepshot, we have Mapala, Gold Voice, and each one is a little bit different and represents a similarity to maybe some famous, social network involved. So, coming back to the features that. First of all, what I have to say that everything that I'm speaking about is in development. None of this is in production. Some of it is very close to being in production. In fact, on Monday, we will launch a public testnet. We will announce a bounty bug hunting mission for our common hard fork. And this hard fork will introduce user-issued assets and smart coins. And basically, all the features that BitShares has, apart from workers, it will be introduced in our blockchain. Why are we doing it? Well, probably a very similar reason why Steemit is doing SMTs. It's not the same thing. It's similar, but it's not the same. But we believe that we will give a push for developers and for people to launch their projects. Because when they have the ability to launch their own token or a smart coin, everybody knows what a smart coin is, right? The difference between user-issued asset and a coin that is tied to something like BitUSD or BitGold. We believe that it will give them the push to be able to, to have more incentive to monetize it. Some of the other things we are working on right now, and we think it's very important, first of all, as we want to change the system, the way plugins are built into the blockchain. And we call it fake plugins, because right now, in order to launch a plugin, you have to rebuild the node. So what we want to do is we want to make it easier. We want to be able to developer to just take the plugin, put it right next to the Golos D, launch it, and that's launched. Yeah, it's a okay. Yes, it's a. I see where you're heading with it. But yes, it's a lot like a microservice. The next thing we want to change is the way that files are stored. We want to give people the ability to be able to use any storage they want. For example, could be Postgres, could be MySQL, could be anything they want. Because we don't see the reason why developer has to use only one specific storage. This is our idea. We'll see where it's going and see how it works. The next thing, and there's been a lot talked about it already from Steam, is multi-threading. And you can see the cat there. And the way multi-threading right now doesn't work in Golos is because, if you can imagine a bowl with food and lots of cats. So one cat is coming and eating the food, and all the other cats have to wait in line instead of all the cats coming together and eating. What it will do, it will actually give the ability for end users to have much quicker communication with the blockchain when it's actually done. Also, we believe a lot in parameterization. I'm not sure if it's the correct word in English, but I'll explain myself. There's like a big funny picture of a cat with a house. What it is, we want to give witnesses the ability to be able to change a lot of parameters. For example, the inflation level, the rewards, to create, I don't know. So basically, instead of each time having the necessity to have a hard fork, if the witnesses reach a consensus between themselves and change some files in the config, and we want to give them the ability to change about 100 parameters, if not even more, then why not? Then it's easier for everybody. And we think it's more decentralized this way because the witnesses, okay, they will have more power, but it will make life much easier. That's what we think. Another thing we are working on, and it will be probably developed within a few months, is community tokens, which is actually might be more similar to SMT, but it's not a user-issued asset. What we want to do is we want to give the ability for people to create communities with their own token, their own vesting token, and their own committee. That means that somebody can create a community and have it either centralized or decentralized as long as it doesn't go against the main consensus of the blockchain. For example, somebody wants to create a community for dog lovers in Lisbon, I don't know, whatever. So he does a command, he gives in the right parameters that he wants to do, then he launches a committee, and this committee will be responsible for the future distribution. So it becomes either the centralized community or a decentralized community. Basically, it's kind of like an ERC20, if everybody knows what an ERC20 is, but without the actual contract. Coming to contracts, we are also working on our own contracts. We've been working on them for about for the past 6 months or so, and I believe that we will have another 8 to 12 months work on that. I believe that we might be able to release the white paper maybe in the beginning of the winter for smart contracts that we are working on. The difference between the contracts that we have in Ethereum and what we're working on is that we want to make contracts as basically a separate file that you put next to the blockchain. And then it's first of all locally executed by a different random executor, which checks if the contract is okay. Then he makes a proposal into the chain. It gets written down in the chain. Then other random executors check if it's okay. And if it's okay, if the contract is okay, it gets done. And only then it gets the results gets written in the blockchain. How is it better than a normal contract? It's better because, first of all, it's more secure, it's cheaper, and the most important thing, we will be able to lower the amount of mistakes where people write a contract and it has a flaw in it. And the problem with Ethereum, if you all know, when you write a contract, it gets done, even if it has a flaw in it, it still gets written into the blockchain because nobody checks it locally before. So we want to get rid of that and go ahead and try to make it slightly different. With all of that, yeah, maybe this is not all the things we are working on. There is much more, but I don't have the time to talk about it right now. So with all of that, we want to go do a big rebranding. Right now, we are looking for brand manager who will be able to help us to find an outsourced team for marketing, and basically want to do like an anti-ICO kind of thing, you know, doing the whole ICO but without selling anything. So because we want to not only change the logo, but we want to change the name probably. We want it to be more international than it is right now, and well, we'll see how it goes. I think that maybe it will take us again 4 or 5 months because we are a growing team right now. And I think the hardest thing that we came across is finding people. It's really difficult because for us developers have to speak Russian. Otherwise it's really hard to communicate. And to find like a good C++ developer or you know, a good full stack developer who understands blockchain as well, and speaks Russian and English, well, it's a hell of a job, and also you have to pay him less because, well, not because we want to pay less, but this is, you know, this is the payments in Russia. The thing is, some developers are able to work from home and, you know, work in the States and get 5 times as more. So it's a big problem for us. Anyways, well, in a few words, that's basically it, and those are just some of the projects on our blockchain right now. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Well, yeah, go one by one. Yeah. I hope it's not too technical, though.
Do you know what color your new logo is going to be?
Oh, good question. No, because we wanna make it together with the community. We wanna involve the community in it, and maybe have like a bounty or at least a bounty for an idea. Maybe they won't be able to develop it because we don't have many good, what's the right word? Who develops logos? Logo developers, designers. Yeah, but I don't think we have many designers on Golos right now. There's about 5 or 6. Yeah, but well, well, as far as I respect him and I love Conti and I love what he's doing, I'm not sure if he can be able to develop a logo that we would like to see. Yeah, please. There was.
Do you keep up with changes from Steemit, merge, new change in code?
No, you have to remember, at first we did. At first we did, and then, like I said, we realized that we are going slightly different ways. And I think it's okay, it's good. I spoke to Michael 2 days ago about it at Vanderberg. It's funny that the main developer in Steemit is called Michael, and our main developer is called Michael as well. You have to think about it. And something strange going on. And we obviously keep an eye on what they're doing. Sometimes we steal what they're doing. It's okay. This is open source, and I'm sure that I don't know if they do the same thing. It's better to ask them. Sneak is saying no way. At the same time, I'm sure somebody in the other room is. Well, I know, for example, is Decent here? No, I know, for example, that Decent, when they launched their user-issued assets, they forked. It's funny because we took it from BitShares, we wrote it, but Decent, for some reason, took our branch, our implementation, and decided, and that's okay. It's great. I mean, for example, we took their IPFS implementation. So yeah, we keep an eye, but we don't merge into each other.
I have one question. Sorry. So basically, as I understood it, you are going more general, let's say. More general with your blockchain, going into the smart contract. I see a parallelism on what Dan is doing, Dan Larimer doing now, going in from Steam into EOS. So I see a lot of.
You're absolutely right.
So you. So the question is, as you also look at the EOS source code and see if you also could fork EOS, perhaps?
No, we don't want to fork EOS because our implementation the idea is the same, implementation is very different. Yeah, so, and there was...
We have 3 minutes left. Hold on, we want to make sure everyone can benefit from this.
Especially me. The smart contract language, what does it look like?
Good question. It will be use an LLVM, and you'll be able to write contracts in any language. We want to have the ability to, doesn't matter if it's Java, Python, whatever. It will be compatible with everything. That's the idea, at least, right now. If you want a bit more, then, like I said, the white paper is really, it's hard to get developers to write, to explain their idea. I don't know if anybody in the room understands me. I'm sure Sneak does. But, you know, it would have been written a long time ago because it's actually, there's even a working implementation behind the scenes. But to be able to get the right words out of developers and to make it into normal language is really difficult. And by the way, EOS is great at it, and their white papers, absolutely, I love it. And then Steam as well. I've seen the SMT white paper you guys did for us. It's a very good example of how to write a white paper for something. So that's great.
Sergey, before we let you go, how do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, usually I put on a slide with my contacts, and
Just
I didn't.
please spell that out for those that might be
golosfund@golos.io. I don't know if it's hard. You know what? You can find me on Steam Chat with my nickname.
And please spell Golos in English.
Yeah, it's spelled Golos in English. Yeah, GOLOSFUND @golos.io. But it's easier probably to find me on Steam Chats and Rocket Chats and. No, you can't see that. That's really weird.
No, they can't see it. And for those that are watching on YouTube, where do they go?
You know what?
They're not in Steemit yet. How would they find you?
I will drop my nickname for everybody who's in the room in the chat, and how to find me, my contacts in the Telegram chat. I think that would be the best way.
Oh, and I'm thinking for those that are watching on YouTube
for those
now,
who are watching
and
us,
they aren't not on Steemit yet, how do they reach you?
Well, first of all, they don't have to go on Steemit. They have to go on Golos. That's the first thing. Sorry, no throwing eggs, right? Well, the best way is email, probably, golosfund@golos.io. They can actually go on the website, go at About Team, and you can find my contacts over there.
All right. Sergey, very good job. Очень хорошо. Спасибо.
Спасибо. Thank you.
Ladies and
Thanks.
gentlemen, Sergey.